Well, the other big political story, we've called it the AAP quake on social media, and we've been getting thousands of tweets about it. Well, it's now a crunch situation because tomorrow is the Aam Aadmi Party's national executive meet. And what this really means is tomorrow is going to be the big day when decisions are going to be taken on the fates of two founding members of the Aam Aadmi Party, Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan. The funny thing is, the boss of the party, Arvind Kejriwal, will actually not be there tomorrow. It's full-on maximum intrigue inside the Aam Aadmi Party. Here's what's happening on the inside.
Diagnosed with a bad cough and spiking sugar levels, Arvind Kejriwal is headed to Bangalore, excusing himself physically from the middle of an all-out war in his party. After breaking his silence on the dirty war, making it clear that he refused to be drawn into the ugly battle. But this is no respite for the rebels, who came under blistering attack from the Kejriwal camp. First off the block, journo-turned-politician Ashish Khaitan slammed the Bhushans for trying to get control over the party. Other Aam Aadmi Party leaders too joined the attack. Meanwhile, signs of the rebel camp trying to douse the fire. Shanti Bhushan issued a press note saying Arvind Kejriwal should continue as the party chief and asking his son Prashant Bhushan and Yogendra Yadav to support Kejriwal. All this while the so-called rebels were readying to fight it out tomorrow.
A day before, there were some conciliatory notes stuck, some crucial meetings on both the camps. But now all eyes would be on Wednesday, whether Prashant Bhushan and Yogendra Yadav are shown the way out of the PAC, or there are still some twists and turns left in this saga of the divided Aam Aadmi Party. With camera person Shakil, Ankit Tyagi in New Delhi for Headlines Today.
Well, one of the persons who claims to know a lot, perhaps more than anybody else, about the mess being created inside the Aam Aadmi Party is actually a former insider. Who else than Kiran Bedi? She joins us live on the newsroom tonight, and we're going to get her perspective. Remember, this is the first perspective, the first word from Kiran Bedi, who's chosen to speak out here on the newsroom. Dr. Bedi, I'd like to begin by asking you what you're making of this very public infighting that's taking place in the Aam Aadmi Party.
Well, I'm certainly saying it's unfortunate for any organization, and certainly unfortunate for them since they are beginning a very long journey, hopefully a long journey. So it's pretty unfortunate. But I'm not surprised at what's happening.
Dr. Bedi, you know, Arvind Kejriwal says that he's deeply hurt, he's pained by what's going on. And I'm quoting from one of his tweets. He says, this is a betrayal of trust that, you know, Delhi posed in us. I refuse to be drawn into this ugly battle. Do you think he can get off by just saying that? Is that justified? Can he just walk away from this saying that I don't want any part in it?
I don't think he can. I think he needs to reflect to what extent is he personally responsible for it.
No, because, you know, a lot of unsavory things are being said about Arvind Kejriwal. I'm sure you've been watching, you know, that he's dictatorial, likes control over all these decisions, doesn't want to decentralize decision making. Is that the Kejriwal that you also knew, ma'am, when you were associated with Team Anna and India Against Corruption?
Well, the time I walked away from when they shifted from movement to become now agitationists and then finally political party was because of the unilateralism and arbitrariness. There were certain things which happened which were arbitrary and very unilateral, and also taking people for granted. And that's the time when I saw the writing on the wall much earlier, when they were shaping to become a political party. I saw it. I experienced it. And I have evidence of it. So that's the time I saw the writing on the wall that this, from movement to become a political party will be a different ball game working with them.
But Dr. Bedi, is that the Arvind Kejriwal that you knew? The man you see right now saying he doesn't want any part in it and all the things people are saying about him. Is that the Arvind Kejriwal you knew as well?
Yes, it was softer earlier. You had just a limited cause of the law, of a law. It was only Lokpal at that time.
Right.
And there were a lot of people. And there was a balancing act. But after that, the balancing act went away. And now, it was no more just the law.
Right.
It was now power, political power. So things have become, naturally had to be more challenging.
What do you think of the possibility, Dr. Bedi, of people like, Prashant, Bhushan and Yogendra Yadav potentially being eased out of the party? That could well happen at tomorrow's national executive.
I do not know whether they will leave the party or not, whether they will compromise or patch up again, or it will bring back a bonhomie, I don't know. That only tomorrow will tell. But it will be pretty weakening for the party if the key founders leave. And not only are they founders, but I clearly recall that the movement, our movement became political under the mentorship or the guidance and professorship of the senior member. What's his name? Yogendra Yadav. It was he who started to come and educate us. I would put it as inverted commas, educate us. That movements become political in this way. And this is the time for it. It ought to be a logical end. So losing the professor who actually sowed the seeds of the movement to take a political route, and Prashant, the legal brain behind it, I think would be quite a blow for the party. So if the party wants to remain strong, it must keep its founders with it. The legal brain and the professor and the thinker. Because he's the one who actually sowed the seeds of the movement, showed the potential that the movement could become political. And that's the time when we as listeners, some accepted or got influenced by his thinking, some didn't. I didn't. That's why I did. I said, no, the movement has to reach a logical end till we get the law. But I think they were short of the law, were already thinking, that's why they went political, and they went national.
Right.
If you see, they went national, fighting 400 seats. That was the seeds being sown, that they could be a 50-member group one day, and without them, the government couldn't be formed. That was the vision coming already.
Dr. Bedi, this is a party that came to power with a historic mandate in Delhi. I mean, let's make no mistake about that. As someone who claims to be very much in touch, with the public mood in this city, what are the reactions that you're picking up from Delhi's public on this very ugly spat in the ruling party?
I'm not aware whether the spat is being properly followed by the people who really voted for him.
Right.
I don't know whether they're following this debate, because I don't think in the end they're interested in the debate. They're interested in his promises now. They want free water, they want cheap electricity, and all other things that he's mentioned. I don't think people who voted for him are looking for the honoring of the promises and all the freebies he's announced, and in a pretty short time. So I don't think they're following the debate, or they may be. I think it will take time to trickle down.
Dr. Bedi, final question now on this, because you've had advice for the Aam Aadmi Party in the past as well, for Arvind Kejriwal as well. You've had many things to say about all of the leaders, especially during the, campaign. But if you were not in the BJP, and if you hypothetically were in the Aam Aadmi Party today, and I know that that visual is inconceivable to you, what kind of advice would you give Arvind Kejriwal and the party to keep it together at this time?
I would say, I regret to say, they lack governance experience completely. And that too for a city like Delhi, which has very, very huge challenges, Unfortunately, I believe that they lack the experience of governance. Any one of them has done any governance. They may have skills in their own professions, whichever they did, whether it was in activism or in media or something else. But as governance and taking bureaucracy with you and grappling with governance issues, I regret to say, I do not know who has a governance experience. I don't know. And Delhi needed strong governance experience and strong bureaucracy management. Delhi is not ordinary. It needs huge bureaucracy management. I regret to say. Well, if anybody has any experience in governance, it may be an exception. But as a team, none of them have worked in governance and they have no clue. They will learn it by trial and error. And in the process, Delhi will pay for it. Delhi will pay for it. The city will pay for it. We will all pay for it. India will pay for it. Because they will continue to make all kinds of news as well. And that news is also international. So it has economic costs. It has economic costs.
Well, Dr. Bedi, that's a pretty detailed analysis of, what's wrong within the party. All things considered, you were a rival to the Aam Aadmi Party in the elections. Let's see if they, consider any of that advice that you've given them at this point of time. All things considered anyway, tomorrow is the national executive. Arvind Kejriwal's not going to be there. The fate of Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan could very well be decided tomorrow. It's going to be a tense political day. We'll keep a very close track of that. Here's a quick reminder.